Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Eimear McKeown. Today's top stories. Gardaí in Waterford are manning multiple checkpoints across the city and county to help halt the spread of COVID-19. The country's top health officials are meeting to discuss if the restrictions should be extended. A report has found a light aircraft crash in Waterford was caused by insufficient engine power. And in sport, 2 Waterford Wildcats players have been named All-Star winners. A Waterford Garda superintendent says this is a make-or-break weekend in relation to managing the COVID-19 crisis. A nationwide Garda operation has been launched to ensure people are adhering to travel restrictions over the Easter weekend. There are multiple checkpoints across Waterford city and county, and officers will monitor scenic spots. Superintendent Chris Delaney from Waterford Garda Station says most people are heeding the advice.
There has been significant compliance and people have done really well. We want to thank the public for that. But coming to this bank holiday weekend, it's very important to keep these high levels of public compliance and particularly restrictions on movements in place. And the guards are trying to support that through carrying out these checkpoints to minimise the risk to the public, to really try and prevent and thwart the spread of COVID-19 via any social transfer over the weekend.
He says Gardaí will be asking people about their movements.
Our policy is kind of a graduated policing response where we will engage with people and ask people where they're going to make sure they're complying with the regulations. Gardaí will explain to people whether they should or should not be at that location. Thirdly, we'll encourage people to be compliant with the regulations. And in that regard, they may direct people. Now, they do have power to do that. And finally, if people don't respond or have been totally unreasonable, we have to think of public safety. At that point, we talk about enforcement. There is a fine of €2,500 potentially there in relation to people who really breach these particular regulations and are a 6 months imprisonment period as well.
The country's top health officials are meeting to discuss if the COVID-19 restrictions should be extended. They're due to expire on Sunday, but are expected to stay in place for another few weeks to limit the spread of the virus. Stephen Murphy reports.
We've all been living with these restrictions on our lives for almost 2 weeks, and while the growth of the virus in Ireland has slowed, health officials are clear there's more to do. The National Public Health Emergency Team is meeting at the moment to discuss what happens next. Sam McConkey, infectious disease specialist at the Royal College of Surgeons, says there are 2 clear options.
One is to flatten the curves and try and spread infection in about half our population or more over a period of 6-9 months so our health service can cope with it.
The other is for even tougher restrictions for a short period of time, like further limits on transport. Professor Mary Horgan is a consultant in infectious diseases at Cork University Hospital. She has a message for anyone thinking of not following the rules over the Easter weekend.
They really need to take a step back and realise the better we go with the government policy of restricted movement, the quicker we'll be past all of this.
Whatever recommendations are made today will also have a big impact on the junior and leaving cert. The government's expected to announce if the traditional June start date for the state exams has to be pushed back. It's clear that it could be a while yet before things get back to normal.
As of Wednesday, there were 7 cases of COVID-19 on site at University Hospital Waterford and 8 suspected cases awaiting results. There's a total of 56 confirmed cases in Waterford as of midnight on Tuesday. That's an increase of 4 since Monday. A Waterford councillor is appealing to people not to get their advice from people on social media. Fine Gael's Damien Gagan is encouraging people to turn to reputable sources for their information.
I think it's really, really important that people would, not take their advice from social media or from WhatsApp messages that are going around. It's important that we do listen to the experts, log in maybe every day and check out the HSE website and that, and, various different government departments are issuing advice as well. And that's the important thing to listen to, not listen to the guy on the street or listening to the person on social media.
A Waterford TD is encouraging Debenham staff to get in touch with her to see what supports are available to them. Staff were told yesterday that the company's Irish operation is set to go into liquidation and its 11 stores will remain closed. That includes its Waterford store in City Square Shopping Centre, which employs around 150 people. Debenhams is the anchor tenant there and contains a number of concession stores, including Topshop, Miss Selfridge, Oasis and Quiz. Fianna Fáil TD Mary Butler says she'll be contacting contacting the Minister for Employment Affairs and Social Protection.
It is imperative now that the company engage with the workers and they outline if any redundancy terms are being offered. And I will also be contacting the Minister for Employment Affairs and Social Protection to establish what options and supports are open to the Debenham workers. Because in this current crisis, when so many people are laid off, the majority of people would hope they would have work to go back to. But now the Debenham workers in Waterford will not have that option, and the uncertainty of their future is very unclear for them at the moment, and they must be absolutely devastated.
CEO of Waterford Chamber of Commerce, Gerald Hurley, says the closure is a surprise, but the city is strong.
We have understood that they had difficulties in that they had entered administration, but we were obviously surprised, as everyone else was, that it happened at this time. Waterford is a city of opportunity. This is a tremendous blow, this crisis that we're currently experiencing, but we will get over it. We will pass through it.
The final report into a plane crash in Waterford last year has found it was probably caused as a result of insufficient engine power. A 29-year-old student pilot escaped uninjured from the aircraft when it came down on March 11th. He said all engine indications were normal before taking off from Waterford Airport, but later lost engine power when the aircraft reached a height of 200 feet. The plane sustained substantial damage after it turned upside down following a forced landing in a nearby field. However, the pilot walked away from the crash. The Finance Minister says he believes there will be enough in the document being agreed by Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil to entice other parties to join them in government. Teams from the two parties are meeting today to finalise a framework document on a coalition government. It will then go to other parties in a bid to get them to form part of the new coalition. Finance Minister Paschal Donohoe says he believes they can be won over.
The document that I think will be agreed will reflect two things. The first thing is the message we heard on February the 8th, and the second thing is the economic reality of where we are now post-COVID-19. But I do believe there's going to be enough of developments in it that I hope other smaller parties will feel that they want to play a part in talking to us.
The Daffodil Centre in Waterford is continuing to provide advice and support to cancer patients across the South East. The facility, which is run by the Irish Cancer Society, is currently closed due to the coronavirus outbreak. However, its two nurses are continuing to work from home. Mary Bennett explains the type of calls they're receiving.
They mostly just want someone to talk to and someone to reassure them that they're doing all that they can to protect themselves, or if they're caring for somebody who has cancer. And they are, if they're going through treatment, they're well used to, I suppose, a form of self-isolation anyway, while they're going through their treatment. They just are worried and concerned sometimes about will their chemotherapy be cancelled, and, some ask then, if I decide not to have chemotherapy, what happens then, and all of those questions.
The Daffodil Centre in Waterford can be contacted on 087 962 5433. The Irish Cancer Nurse Line is also available on 1800 200 700. People are being asked to shine a light tomorrow night for a moment of solidarity during the battle against COVID-19. Public buildings across the country and Irish embassies across the world will be lit up at 9 p.m. Organisers are asking everyone to shine your light for all the people who are sick and for those who have lost their lives and their loved ones. People are asked to post a photo or video of their light online with the hashtag #ShineYourLight.
WLR Sport, Ireland's local station of the year.
First to basketball, two Waterford Wildcats players have been named All-Star winners for season 2019-2020. Stephanie O'Shea and Jazz Walker are the recipients. WLR's Matt Keane reports.
Stephanie O'Shea has picked up her second All-Star award. She's been one of the most consistent players in the Women's Super League for the past 5 seasons, and before the league was brought to a halt before COVID-19, she played a major role in getting the team to the playoffs. Stephanie also received an All-Star award last year. Jazz Walker is currently into her third season with the Wildcats. This is her first All-Star award. Jazz was the queen of the court this season, and her award is richly deserved. Yesterday, the gifted under-20 player Debbie Ugamani was named the under-20 player of the year, and Debbie, of course, also plays on the senior team. Matt Keane, WLR Sport.
Former Republic of Ireland manager Mick McCarthy is hopeful of a return to management. His second spell in charge of the Boys in Green came to an end last week, 4 months before his contract was due to expire. But McCarthy says he's open to offers.
When you're out of a job, you kind of never think you're going to get another one. You just hope somebody's going to employ you. So targeting any one specific place or club or country I'm not going to do that.
Finally, to Gaelic Games, Munster Council CEO Kieran Leddy says the response from GAA clubs around the province and the country has been fantastic, but he also warned that the fallout from the pandemic may take years to resolve. He told the Irish Examiner that if championship activities are curtailed, the decline in income can be dealt with over a number of years. Clubs and counties have been advised that they can maintain their pitches, and that has to happen. WLR asking you to stay at home. Our next bulletin is at 2.